Well, we're stuck in the gloom today after a soaker yesterday, and you can see the story right here. That all those clouds you see, that's the outline of a stalled out backdoor cold front that has been stalled out for much of the week. We'll draw the outline for you again, but you can see there's the outline right here, right there, stalled out. And if you're southwest of that, you're dealing with spring and summer-like warmth. But for us, stuck in the clouds and rather cool. And luckily, at least it was dry today. Yesterday was a heck of a soaker, though. We did get a lot of rain, which is good. So we'll go over and take a look at that in a moment here. So let's get to that. And we'll go over our rainfall totals. I don't think Upton put a rainfall total. No, they did not put a rainfall total out. But we will go ahead and we will look at our rainfall totals from yesterday. It was quite an impressive soaker for sure. We'll put this. Let's see, rainfall. Let's see, 36 hours, I guess. And you can see we got quite a bit of rain here. I'll just put the 48 already, just so we have the whole event in. Because you can see some areas got 2 inches of rain, particularly Bayshore, Islip, Sayville, the south parts of the South Shore of Suffolk, over 2 inches of rain, and everybody else got let's see, 1.32 at Farmingdale, 1.15 at Islip, West Hampton got 1.66, so definitely is a soaker. Have some heavy rain, particularly overnight. Didn't get a thunderstorm. At least I didn't see any thunderstorms here, but some areas might have gotten it. 1.58 in Manhattan, Central Park, LaGuardia 1.54, JFK got 1.60, so it was a real soaker, over an inch of rain in much of the area yesterday. A little less, you head into Jersey. It looks like they wound up getting a little bit less there. If these numbers would load, that would be nice. Come on. And they don't feel like loading now. It's nice. There we go. So, yeah, not as much rain over there at all. Man, only 0.30. So they really missed out on the rain over there. But it was a soaker. As far as today goes, we are in the mid-30s out there. 36 at Islip, 37. So it's been mid-30s to low 40s pretty much of the day. Just a gloomy day. Luckily, we haven't had too much drizzle around. That may be a problem later. That's what we're going to have to talk about, especially into tomorrow, because our highs pretty much only upper 30s to around 40, lows mid-30s. So not much of a range in temperatures. And again, it's all courtesy of the stalled front, which really has just been stalled out. Pretty much, look at the surface analysis here, and you can see this front just hasn't budged at all. You could just move this along. You can see this front just have waves riding along it, but the front itself hasn't budged at all. It's been stalled out, and we've been getting waves of low pressure riding along that front, bringing us rain. So you can see there it is right there, and actually it looks like it's trying to advance southwestward again, because you still got that high over the Canadian Maritimes that's keeping us in this backdoor front gloom. Backdoor fronts can be nice in the summer, but not at this time of the year. So we'll go over our Islip climatological report for today, and you'll see we had a high of 39 and a low of 35, right actually at average, because the low of 35 was 6 degrees above normal, but the high of 39 was 6 degrees below normal, so right at average. And month to date, we've gotten 2.33 inches of rain. Today we got under the half an inch, and that was after midnight. Yesterday we got 1.26 inches at Islip. So, yeah, real soaker for sure. On top of that snowpack, which a lot of it's gone now. The rain definitely washed a lot of it away, and that's going to help fill up our lakes and reservoirs and rivers and streams and stuff like that. But we're going to go to the drought monitor. It was just taken on Thursday before a lot of the rain. This is going to definitely look different the next time we look at it. They have us in it abnormally dry over much of Long Island and the Jersey Shore, and they go inland is to D1. But I've found this is going to look a lot different when they update it, and these numbers should be a lot less of a drought as far as the area goes. I think pretty much almost out of it at this point, considering all the rain we've had, at least on Long Island. But we'll have to go out there and look at what the lakes look like in the Pine Barrens that the weather has sucked. And that's the biggest challenge, I think, is just have not been to the Pine Barrens for a while. The weather is just one cloudy day after another. And if you look at the high temperatures today, you'll see this kind of shows you where the backdoor front is. And then as you go off to the west, you can see here, if you're in Virginia, you're dealing with summer-like warmth. How about 80s? Which is almost crazy for March. I mean, this is some pretty hot air that's in this area here. Very hot air. And it's also, really unusual to see this kind of warmth. And that's why we have all this severe weather now breaking out in the plains. There's even one active tornado warning, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, a flash flood warning in parts of Kansas. So already seeing severe weather with this kind of heat. That's no surprise that you're going to see that for sure. And if you look at the current conditions over there in places like Charlotte, you'll see the dew points are also up to 61 in Gastonia, for instance. So, that is we're dealing with. You can see, looking at some of these observations, some pretty strong winds ahead of that front. So, yeah, we've got a recipe for tornadoes and severe weather. And, again, we've got one tornado warning on there as well. So, and a big tornado watch, as you see there. And it's the time of the year where we got to look at the Storm Prediction Center. And you can see that risk zone right there, and there is already seeing a orange area, which is enhanced, I believe, around that. So that is remarkable. And you see there's your tornado watch right there, which, again, they kind of made this look a little different now with the scale. They did update the site a little bit, but you can see that risk, that severe risk that we have. And go to storm reports, you'll see that there are actually, wow, look at all those tornadoes reported. How about 15 tornadoes today? That is highly unusual for early March. Very unusual. And go into day 2. This is tomorrow. And you can see that slight risk kind of makes its way closer to us. And we will have to worry about this line moving through for overnight, Saturday night to Sunday. However, they don't really have us in a severe weather zone for that. So, this is what we're dealing with right now. If we look at the radar, I'll show you what this line looks like, and you can see, it looks like it's approaching Detroit. That is a pretty nasty line right there. And then here's the other piece of it, places like Kansas City and stuff. So this is what we're going to have to watch for later Saturday night, probably much later Saturday night. So it'll be like a dry front, because it's going to actually get warmer behind the front when it moves through. So if we look at the Weather Prediction Center, and we go to our overview here, we go to the day 2, you'll see what happens there. Tomorrow we're still stuck in the backdoor cold front, and then finally we get this dry front trying to finally struggle to make it offshore on Sunday. And hopefully maybe we'll see a little bit of sun, but we've gone through so many days in this gloom, and it's just awful. Awful. The only thing I'd rather not have is snow, but that's it. This is like my least favorite kind of weather, other than snow, of course. So let's go ahead and look at the models here, and we're going to look at the GFS first, and I'll just take this to the eastern U.S. so we can take it a little closer here. You can see that high there, backdoor front that's so stubborn. And it's going to continue to be stubborn over our area tomorrow. That high finally, slowly, we start trying to get into a southerly flow regime. But the atmosphere is going to be very moist, which means fog and sucky drizzle. And then we have that front trying to slowly get offshore Saturday night. But look at this. Look what the GFS does. Keeps rain chances in the forecast all day, a lot of the day Sunday too now. So I was hoping at least part of the weekend would be decent. But the GFS is saying maybe not so fast. Look at the European here. Here's the European. And you can see what happens Sunday. It slows down. And we've struggled to get it offshore. Hopefully we can get it offshore. The UR is a little bit quicker getting it offshore for at least the later part of Sunday. So take a look at our mesoscale models now. And we'll show you what we got. And before we go to the actual radar simulation, I'll just show you the dew points and wind flow, kind of illustrate what's going on here. So you can see that backdoor front entrenched. You notice that the winds do change to the south tomorrow. That's going to bring in more moisture. and that could help facilitate some sucky drizzle. And you can see those high dew points. You can see what looks like a dry line. You can see the winds shift to the southwest. Hello, furnace exhaust by tomorrow night. And then as we get into Sunday, you notice later on the winds go a little more west to northwest. So a little more of a west to northwest flow later Sunday. This is the HRRR, by the way, all right? So this is pretty much covering the whole weekend at this point. You see that dry air does eventually get in. Hopefully that would move the moisture out, and we get to see some sunshine. Now the temperature is obviously very evident on this backdoor cold front here. I mean, look at this. I mean, you have such warmth. I mean, if we just take this out to the eastern U.S. view, you can see how far the warmth goes up. I mean, it's warmer in Chicago than it is here now. It's all because of this backdoor front that's just stuck here. And it's been stuck here for days now and delaying our warm-up. All right? So tomorrow and tonight, obviously don't expect temperatures to change much. Tomorrow, maybe we get a little bit warmer. Maybe we can get to the low to maybe mid-40s maybe on Long Island. Maybe a little warmer if you're off to the southwest, but still really kind of stuck in the backdoor front misery and the gloom. And then we see that those temperatures increase Sunday night and could actually, over Jersey, it could get well into the 50s. For us, temperatures probably rise through the 40s and maybe getting up to the low 50s in the morning. And then for Sunday, we could get quite warm before that dry front moves through. We could see maybe even 55 or 60. Maybe it'll be a warm-up. And then for the rest of Sunday, it's showing 50s. So, and then as we get to the evening, the temperatures start dropping into the 40s. But Sunday we'll definitely see warmer temperatures, but it's going to be a struggle. This is the HRRR model that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and look at the precipitation forecast here and take a look what happens. So as for tomorrow, not showing any precipitation. However, there could be sucky drizzle around. We're going to have to look at that. Here comes what's left of the line of severe thunderstorms. And it kind of just falls apart. Doesn't really do much on this HRRR model. It kind of just falls apart. And then we get a little bit of shower activity Sunday morning. And the HRRR keeps it moving along. And therefore, we're not stuck in dealing with the wetness throughout Sunday. The HRRR keeps it moving along. And it really doesn't show a whole lot of rainfall here. Now, it barely shows anything. Yeah, really barely anything from this. Barely anything. However, you will notice a little bit of green on the map here, and that could be from sucky drizzle. It's like barely a trace, but there could be some sucky drizzle on Saturday. I'm so tired of the drizzle. I really am. So let's go ahead and look at the NAM. See if anything is different on the NAM as far as the way this front progresses. So you can see the NAM, and there's the front, kind of a few showers. It does seem to take it offshore, so that's the good news. So it seems like most of these models are taking that front offshore and not stalling it, the GFS being the only one. So if we look at the FE3, which would be the GFS, there's the front, you could see. Even the GFS doesn't really show it stalling, so I don't know why that run does that, but I think hopefully by later Sunday afternoon we should be dry. So it seems like there's an agreement that the front does push offshore. Let's go to the RGEM, the next model to look at here. And you can see how the storms kind of just fall apart by the time they get to us. There's the RGEM. It does maybe over southern New Jersey there might be, but for us, it looks like it does try to clear the area. So obviously tomorrow, stuck in the clouds, probably not going to see the sun at all. And then as you get to Sunday, hopefully maybe by later in the day, you got to remember, set your clocks ahead tomorrow night. We'll have an extra hour of daylight. Maybe you'll get to see the sun an hour or two before it sets. And then the sky should be clearer at night. All right. So that's what it's looking like right now for the weekend. This is what all our models show. But this doesn't tell the whole story because we have to look at the potential for fog and drizzle. So we're looking at the Ventusky site right now. And go ahead and I'll show you. I'll just put regular humidity just to show you how the humidity increases tomorrow. So we get into tomorrow by 7 a.m. We've got 100% humidity, which would indicate fog, all right, or sucky drizzle. So when we go and we look at our clouds and we look at the visibility, you'll see it's showing possible fog and drizzle around for tomorrow. Whether that's fog or drizzle or fog and drizzle, it's hard to say, but there could be sucky drizzle throughout the day. Showing this with the south wind, it's really hard to say whether it's going to be drizzle or fog. All right, but you can see here, yeah, especially toward the evening, it really gets really thick. Is this fog or is it drizzle? Well, we're going to put fog here, and you can see it is showing little pieces of fog, but it looks like it's showing mostly drizzle here. So tomorrow could be a miserable, drizzly day. It might be a day that you're going to be stuck inside if it's sucky drizzle all day. It's really hard to say. This is what the HRRR model shows, as far as showing a lot of drizzle for tomorrow, unfortunately. And as we get into Sunday, you can see it finally starts to move on out. It gets scoured out. By the afternoon, it's gone. All right, this is the HRRR model. All right. So the only other site I can use that shows that visibility parameter is windy.com. So let's go ahead and look at that and visibility. All right, so right now it's not really showing too much drizzle, but as you get into tomorrow, it's definitely showing a little more green on the map, and especially as you get toward the evening. That's not rain, that's just drizzle and or fog. That is, as the humidity, especially as it moves over the colder ocean water and the colder land, that you'd have condensation, whether it's fog or drizzle. So let's see if this shows fog or drizzle. All right, it does show some fog. So it's questionable what it's going to be, whether it's going to be fog or drizzle and or fog and drizzle. But it looks like fog could be a problem tomorrow. So it's showing pretty low visibility. So so if we hit the clouds, it's not really showing any precipitation. It's just showing. So it could just be fog, perhaps. Hopefully it's fog and not drizzle. It's very hard to forecast exactly what's going to happen with that. We could hit precipitation. Let's see if it doesn't really show any precipitation for tomorrow. So that's a good sign that maybe we won't have drizzle. This is the European model. But if we go to the Vent2Sky model and hit precipitation for tomorrow, it may have a different idea. Yeah, see, it's showing it's showing fog. So there could be fog and drizzle tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be gloomy. That's the bottom line. So one more gloomy day, and then we see some relief. But Saturday is definitely going to be the worst day of the weekend. And hopefully by Sunday we break on out of this horrible, depressing misery that we've been dealing with all week long. So anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. Enjoy the weekend. And Sunday night, I'll be back. We'll talk about how things are going to be going next week with some warmth. And maybe a chance of one more shot of some Arctic air, maybe. And I don't have my hopes up too high for that, unfortunately. So, anyway, have a good night.